So we are back in Premier League action against Tottenham. 12:30 kickoff tomorrow. This is our biggest game of the season now, and it means everything to Arsenal fans and hopefully to our players as well. If we beat them, we're 1 point behind them. They would have then lost 3 in a row. The momentum would be with us. We drag them back into a top 4 race. Only one team in the planet could go from being title challengers to 2 games later being in trouble for a top 4 place. Yep, this is the history of the Tottenham, as Chiellini once said. But, like I said, we move into this game full of confidence. We've won our last 3 games. 5-star performance the other night against Bournemouth. 5 different goal scorers. Aubameyang, Lacazette, both scoring goals. And I'm so happy that Aubameyang's back on the score sheet. When Koscielny scored that goal, and Aubameyang tapped it in afterwards, there was a little bit of umming and ahhing, and the scoreboard didn't update for about 5 minutes. When it got given to Koscielny, I was gutted for Aubameyang because he just needs a goal. Luckily, he got one. Great finish as well, sitting the goalkeeper on his backside and tapping it into an empty net. So we are full of confidence now. We've scored 10 goals in our last 3 games, and all the players have stepped up, including Mesut Ozil. He was absolutely fantastic against Bournemouth the other night. He was great against Barté, and he did really well against Southampton when he came on. Before I get into my 1 to 11 for this game, don't forget, stick a massive thumbs up on the video. Don't forget to subscribe as well. This shit's free. So, in goal, I think that's a no-brainer. Bernd Leno. Absolutely fantastic saves in his last 3 games. His distribution is, well, miles better than Czech's. So, for me, that's a no-brainer. I think our centre-backs and our wing-backs look so much more comfortable with him when he's got the ball to feet. And they all know that if they fire the ball back to him, he's going to be cool, calm and collective and pick the right pass. With Petr Cech in goal, man scoring own goals nearly. So, yeah, we'll allow that one. On to my 4 at the back. Not going with a back 3, I'm going with a 4. I'm going to drop Jenkinson for this game. I thought he played all right the other night. Nothing spectacular. But for me, he can't play this game. I'm going to put Lichtsteiner in at right back. I think that his experience, not only that, he's also played against Tottenham last season for Juventus at Wembley as well. And he kept them quite quiet in that game. So he has to start at right back for me. And his last 2 performances for Arsenal, I've actually seen the real Lichtsteiner because I think his imposter of a brother's rocked up until then. Onto the left-hand side, for as good as Kolasinac has been, I don't think we should start him for this game. Maybe have him as an option off the bench. But for me, we have got to go with somebody who can defend. He can't do that, so for me, I'm putting Monreal in at left-back. Centre-back positions. I think the first one we've got to be chucking in there is Socrates, the only one who can actually defend properly for 90 minutes, consistently over a sustained period of time. I think he's been absolutely fantastic since he's joined Arsenal. He's a warrior, and he had Harry Kane in his back pocket when we played him at the Emirates. We all remember this selfie that he put up, the picture that he put up, should I say, where he's standing over their captain like this. Let's hope we see some more of that again tomorrow when we play them, and he pockets him for the 2nd time this season. Next to him, I'm going to put Koscielny in. Although I don't really rate Koscielny, he's better than Mustafi, and he did play really well against Bournemouth the other night. So I think that he deserves his chance in this game. I don't think Mustafi should walk back into this squad right now. I don't think he's good enough, and the momentum is fully with us at the moment. So that is my back 4. 2 in midfield. I think Xhaka should come straight back in for this game. I know we played Guendouzi the other night. Sloppy mistake, which gifted them a goal. Ultimately, that never cost us the game. We went on to absolutely batter him after that. But for me, Granit Xhaka, the game that his last game was against Southampton, and that was one of the best games I've seen him have for Arsenal. So he has to come straight back in. Next to him, Lucas Torreira. I think both of them this season, when they've played the majority of games together, they've looked solid. They sort of play off of each other as well. They read each other's games really well. Granit Xhaka hasn't got the legs that Torreira's got. Torreira runs around nicking the balls back, and then Xhaka pings his passes to Iwobi or Mkhitaryan, whoever's out on the wing. So for me, that really works well and has done for most of this season. So I think that's a no-brainer. Now I'm going to put 3 in front of that with 1 up top. On the right-hand side, another fantastic performance from him the other night, and that's Henrik Mkhitaryan. Again, I think he's stepped up right now when we most need him. I see a stat the other day that he's scored or been involved in terms of assists and goals, 20 goals since he's been at Arsenal. And it's in about 20 appearances as well. So Listen, I've mugged him off a few times on this channel, and I don't think that he's lived up to the levels that he has at Dortmund. But with them kind of figures, he's going under the radar. But he's now chipping in with goals as well, which is going to be massive if we want to get in the top 4. So for me, Henrik Mkhitaryan on the right. On the left-hand side, he was rested against Bournemouth the other night, and that was Alex Iwobi. I think he has to come straight back in. He's, again, very similar to Mkhitaryan. He's very direct. He can get the ball and he can run past people. Yes, he doesn't score as many goals as Mkhitaryan, but his assist ratio this season has been pretty good, and he's been involved in a hell of a lot of our goals. And with Kieran Trippier at right back, that guy has had an absolute nightmare week, but also a nightmare season. Since he scored that goal in the World Cup against Croatia, the free kick, he's just been in free fall ever since. And he can't defend. Yes, he's got a good cross on him. So we need to target that guy, because for me, he is their weak point. So Alex Iwobi is the perfect player to put in that position. Now, on to the number 10 position, and this is where I've been racking my brains. Do we play Ramsey? Do we play Mesut Ozil? For me, I don't think we can drop Ozil right now. I think he's in top form. He scored a wonderful goal the other night, hit the post. He should have had 2. And his all-round gameplay was absolutely fantastic, as it was when he came on against Southampton. So for me, I'm starting him. And this is where I want to see the real Mesut Ozil, the one that we signed from Real Madrid. Because in too many of these away games, the geezer is the first one to go missing. So maybe, just maybe, he can make me eat my words and actually put a 5-star performance in against Tottenham. But we shall see. In front of him, I think there's only one man who's suitable for this job right now, and that is Lacazette. Aubameyang doesn't really offer a great deal in big games. I think he's disappeared in quite a few of them since he's been at Arsenal. Whereas on the flip side of that, Alexander Lacazette tends to score in most of these games. Scored against pretty much every big team he's faced since he's been here. So I think if you add into that his work rate, add into that the fact that he will do a job for the team, he'll run back past our midfielders to win balls back, and he will leave everything on the pitch. He's also an aerial threat as well, in terms of loading the ball up to him. Aubameyang wins 1 out of 20 headers. Lacazette, for somebody who's a short guy, tends to win 50-60% of the balls that are thrown up to him. So for me, it's a no-brainer. So there's my 11. Let me know what you guys think. What 11 would you pick? Would Ozil start? Would you put Jenkinson at right back? But before we get into my score prediction, I'm just going to go with my thoughts on how I see the game going. I think that this is a massive game, not only for us, but also for them. They have lost their last 2 games, which means they've lost 8 out of 28 games this season. That's not great. They've lost more games than we have, but the reason they're above us is because they don't draw any games. They find some way of winning the game. They somehow pluck up a 90th minute goal from Harry Kane or Son or somebody like that. But for me, I think that they're going to be extremely nervous going into this. We're full of confidence. We need to hit them from the front in the first minute, go and press them high up the pitch for the first 20 minutes, try and nick an early goal if we can, then take it off the gas a little bit, sit back, just game manage it. Don't go too gung-ho. If we go 1-0 up, don't go and force a second. Just sit back and make them come on to us. And that will ultimately play into our hands. And that's what I see happening. Personally, I think that with the team I picked, I think that's way good enough to be beating them. I think we'll have options on the bench as well with the likes of Ramsey, Aubameyang, Guendouzi. And I think that that is good enough to beat them. I fully do think we'll beat them as well. I think that they will get a goal back, and they'll try putting the pressure on, excuse the pun, but they will put the pressure on a little bit, and that's when we then release Aubameyang to come on, do the business, and finish them off. And I fully see us taking 3 points out of this game. I can't see it going any other way. I'm sure this will be turned into a fucking meme or something if it does. But like I said, I do think that we will win the game, and that will move us 1 point behind them in the race for top 4. Obviously, Man United are playing at home against Southampton. They're expected to win that. And Chelsea are playing against Scott Parker's Fulham after they sacked Claudio Ranieri yesterday. So I fully expect them to win as well. So we have to beat Tottenham tomorrow if we want any chance of sucking them back into it. Obviously, if they beat us, they're 7 points clear, and that's good night. We ain't catching them after that. And what with Man United and Chelsea probably both winning, we'll be back down in 6th. So the stakes are high in this one, and we have to turn up. The fans have to turn up, which is a given for a North London derby. Now we've got to see the players turn up for it. And if it's anything to go by from the game that we played them earlier in the season at home, that is what I want to see in this game. Press them, harass them, get in their faces, leave a few on them, and then walk out with the points. That is what I want to see. Anyway, let me know what you guys want to see. I'd love to know what you think, what your thoughts are on the game. I'd love to know what your score predictions are. I'm going to go with a score prediction for this game of Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 2. We are going to beat them. We're going to slap them all around Wembley, and we're going to leave with the 3 points, fully dragging them into a race for top 4. Imagine if they finish 6th this season after being in a title race 2 games ago. Anyway, don't forget, subscribe, like and share. Leave all of your comments down below. Until the review after the game, I'm out of here. Laters, peeps.